Today, we'll show you how to replace your front brake pads and rotors on your 2004 to 2010 Acura TSX. As usual, we'll work on the whole thing together. We'll show you a couple of quick tips, how to get it all done. And once again, welcome back. First things first, we'll take the wheel off. Now we can turn the wheels out to give us some more space. And as usual, there's two bolts behind the caliper. Once we get these two bolts out, your caliper's set free. After that, there's two pins attached to the pads. We'll want to take it out. And we can just get a flathead, give the pads a little nudge, and it should come out. Just like that. And after getting the pads, don't forget the old clips. And just give it a little nudge. After that, there's two bolts holding on the caliper bracket. Once we get these two bolts off, the caliper bracket should come right off. Once we get the bracket off, we can now work on the rotor. And there's two screws holding on the rotor. We can help ourselves with a hammer and a screwdriver. It should be relatively easy. And if the rotor's stuck with a hub, we can help ourselves with a hammer. Just make sure to put a lug on the stud so the rotor doesn't fly right off. Once we get the rotor out, we can work on cleaning up the hub just to remove any excessive brake dust and rust. Now, if you have access to an air tool, feel free to use it. If not, a wired brush would do just the job. And just to keep in mind, this will not look brand new, so something like this would work. And we'll do the same thing to the caliper bracket. Nothing too crazy. It's not going to look brand new. The goal here is to clean off the brake dust on where the new clips would be sitting on. And just the same thing on the other side. And after that, we'll be greasing up the very same area we just cleaned up, where the new clips would be sitting on. And I mentioned this on every single one of our videos. The right amount of grease is not to flood the caliper. We just want to have just about the amount to have the whole area covered up. Now for today's video, we'll be using the BrakeX Alpha brake pads. So if you like the video so far, or if you find this useful, make sure to check us out at BrakeX.com and experience the original braking at the excellence. And now we'll be installing the new clips back on the caliper. Now do yourself a little favor, make sure the clips are sitting flat on the caliper so it doesn't block the pads when it's going back on. And the next step, we'll be working on the pins of the caliper boots. Now once we get the pins out, we'll wipe it down and we'll grease it up. And it's the same thing here. The right amount is not to flood the bolt. We just need enough to cover it up. Just like that. And as we put the pins back in, we can gently push and pull the rubber part just to make sure there's no cracks. It's not broken. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. After that, we'll be greasing up the hub, and it's the same story. We don't want to flood it. And now it's time to put the new rotors on the car. After that, we can put the 2 screws back on, and it's very important for this part to be gentle. It's a very small screw. If we go too hard on it, it breaks very easily. So just like that, nice and easy. After that, there we go, the caliper bracket. And it's 2 bolts. Now just a quick tip here, it's always easier to mount the bolt first before we really try to tighten it and wrench it up. So, use your fingers, give it a little spin. And now we can wrench it up and tighten it. When we wrench it up, just make sure it's tight. You don't want this part to be loose. You don't want your caliper to be shaking. So we tighten it once more. There we go. And now it's time for the new BrakeX Alpha brake pads. Now we'll want to grease it up a little bit on the edges where it's going to sit on the clips. And it's the same story. The right amount is not to flood it. And there we go. We can just slide it in. It's almost like a diagonal motion. We slip it in and push it. There we go. And now we're going to use the caliper piston tool to push the piston back into the caliper. And we'll make sure we're doing this very gently. We don't want to break the rubber ring, or we're going to start leaking fluids. And perfect. And now we can put the caliper back on it. And the last part is to put the 2 bolts we removed earlier back on the caliper. And it's the same story. We want to mount it first before we really try to wrench it up. It's going to give you a better life. And again, make sure it's tight. We don't want your caliper to be loose or shaking. We are almost there. We just have to put the wheels back on to wrap it all up. And I say this in every single one of our video also. Make sure to tighten the lugs up in a star-shaped motion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can lower the jack and stop just when the vehicle touches the ground, not when it's completely on the ground. And now we can torque the wheels. And once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon at BrakeX.com.